Boom. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt. I will be your alchemist this evening, and I've got more alchemists. What the hell's going on? Who am I joined by?
Well,
We don't know who you're pointing at, Matt.
Well, I'm
We've all
joined
got
by.
different screens.
Well, I'm joined by now recurring guest MS Arthadian. Hello.
Why, hello there, everyone. If you don't know me, I am MS Arthadian. I am the creator of Arthadian Anthologies, a new expanding universe called The Core Realms, and I run a live stream bi-weekly on Tuesdays with Matt Waterhouse here, who plays Marmaduke 9. And yeah, it's been really fun, and we're here to talk about some crazy stuff.
I was gonna share the website again, but I've lost it because we were looking at D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
And
what else
and
can we talk about?
who else are we joined by? Well, we're joined by two other familiar faces who you all should know. Watching the channel.
Although it has been a while since we've both been on
It's been a
together.
long time.
Yeah. Two other alchemists. We have Lee and Karl. Hello, Lee and Karl.
Hey everyone, we're just our normal selves today.
Yep. No crackers or
Basically
anybody
play
else.
my normal self though, really. So
Yeah, Cassius is a version of Lee.
I don't know if this conversation came. I can't remember who it came up with. I think it was, I don't know, somebody. I worked out, like, I think we all basically play versions of the same character
oh, that was me. That was
every
me and you.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I talked about it with. I think it was Hannah Jeffers User. Like I was saying, like, every character I play is either a fish out of water or like a loner in some respect.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm just a debonair extraordinaire, and Karl has definitely been betrayed. Like 100%.
Oh, yeah.
At some point.
It either betrayed or dead parents. They're the two standards in the characters.
You can't have a character without one of those two.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on.
Tropes. We like tropes. Come
It's a
on.
D&D trope. All right.
Yeah. Betrayed or orphaned, or left for dead,
Hey,
or all three.
trifecta, all
Or
three.
dead.
Yeah.
It's happened before.
Yeah.
I have genuinely made a character that was technically dead.
What would yours be, Matt?
Mine would probably be, I don't know. I play a lot of different ranges of characters. I try to really like divvy into different ones. I like to have someone who has a really crazy flaw. So if like mainly like low intellect, low charm characters, those are my top ones. If I do low intellect, I try to really come up with an idea that's not like, oh, I'm stupid, kind of duh, but more like I'm oblivious to certain things, and I want to try to do everything on my own, and then like my teammates will end up coming to me and trying to help me, or they'll get pissed off at me, and I'll be like, I know what I'm doing. You shut up.
I'm
But
so glad you didn't just trope it with the, oh, I'm just really dumb, because I'm so tired of low
no,
intellect.
I'm tired of that too. And sometimes people don't like really gauge the actual number that your actual like attribute score is at. Playing D&D, for instance, if someone has an 8 in intellect, they'll think that they're like super stupid, but they're only 2 away from an average.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to at least put some effort into them understanding things and being able to learn from certain things, but still stupid enough to be like, hey, there's a box right there and it has teeth coming out of it. Maybe there's something shiny inside of it. And then they'll go over and do it and open it.
But when someone makes a character of like intelligence 9 and they're acting like they have never been, they know how to have had a day of education in their life.
Yeah.
Like nine is slightly below average. You can function. It's like I walk into the wall because I don't know what a door is. Like, yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
You
my
are a
dog
function-
knows what a
You
door
are a
is.
functioning sentient being. You therefore must know what a door is.
But what's really funny is inside Reborn in Power, I made a mechanic where you can get like a super low negative score, like -5. And then my players decided, we're gonna make the worst character we've ever made. And so they made a doctor who has a -6 in intelligence. and he
Like
is
Dr. Nick.
he thinks he's a doctor, but he's actually a serial killer. and
I'm
he
about to
thinks
say.
that he's going around and helping people, but he's killing them.
I was going to say, surely a doctor with an intelligence of -6 is just a serial killer that thinks they're a
Yeah.
doctor, right? They're not saving anybody.
Yeah.
The only thing you're saving people is time
Debatable at that point, to be
Yeah.
honest.
and medical fees. That's all you're saving them.
Mostly medical fees.
Entirely medical fees.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So part of like the first chat that we had, Arthadian, was regarding kind of system construction and making games and things. We just had a look at a one page that I have penned, and we've got, and kind of part of the point of the Alchemy Lab channel was we have something in the works and it's sort of being kind of perfected and
Lee has left the chat.
and so and Lee couldn't make it for that chat.
Yeah,
And
I know. I was upset
can't
about
remember.
that because I remember Lee had a lot of questions to ask me.
Yeah,
Mainly about why I chose this route.
That was the thing. I think that was the one. I remember we were talking about this coming up, and I was like, ask him why he got into this hellscape of making games.
Yeah, I understand the curse. It's not. It's sometimes it's a lot more difficult and a lot more challenging. But now I feel like with all that's going on in the industry, it's hopefully there is a window of opportunity for indie creators like us to be able to push through all of the fudge and get a community going surrounding what we have created.
I am
So I feel like
curious though. What was your inspiration to get into this?
So I have been writing since I was in like the third grade, fourth grade, and I love just storytelling in general. And my dad, so I don't read very much, but my dad took me to like movies growing up all the time, and I love the cinematic storytelling kind of model, and I try to implement that into my own writing. And then when I got introduced to D&D, I didn't like it at first because I was playing 4th edition, and then my friend got the Star Wars tabletop RPG Force and Destiny, and I love Star Wars. And then we started playing it, and I realized I have a full like multiversal existence that I have written and created, and I haven't really like done much with it. I'm going to make a game with it and immerse people into my stories, and that's like the whole reason why I started it. That was like 9 years ago now. So I've gone through like many different iterations.
It's like as long as you, Lee.
Yeah, I'm on about 10 years and 10 iterations, I think. I stopped counting after a while.
Yeah, it's at a certain point you have to stop and realize, okay, this needs to be done, and if it's once it's done, it's done. Like maybe I'll do some updates, but let the players play test it and try it out and see if they like it, and then but also you have to like it. You have to like the system that you're creating. I feel like it's just like when you're writing a story, you want to like the thing that you're making or doing. Because if you don't, then why would anyone want to put in their time and effort to read something or do something if the creator of it didn't even have that same passion towards it? So that's my 2 cents into this.
That is really similar to my journey, actually. So we began, so my D&D journey began with 3.5, and it was the most short-lived RPG, like tabletop RPG experience of my life. We met in a tavern, and we did not leave that tavern because it burnt down.
This was on the horror stories. If you want.
That wasn't down to us. It was just down to him. He was just like, "I'm just gonna make you suffer." And those books were so dense.
It wasn't
so dense. I spent days.
I didn't do it.
Days making this character, and my friend did too. And we're there, we're playing, and I think we're like 14. So obviously, I wanted to chat up the barmaid. That wasn't taken very well by the dungeon master, so he had some other plans. Eventually, the thing burned down. We then went into fourth edition with these guys, a couple more, and we played for a good long while, but at least a year, maybe even two.
I think it was a couple.
Yeah, it could have a long while.
I think it was what we were in our last year of school and we started, and I think we'd all finished. I think people were coming back from university at some point while we were still playing. So I think it must have been at least a year to 2 years.
I think it was later than that. I feel like I was on my MA. It might have been like
maybe
like final-ish. I think it was while I was doing my MA. I think that's when
it must have been because we stopped because you went to China.
Yes,
that's right.
Back when it was, cool to go to China and you wouldn't, back disappear.
Back
before into like a COVID, a COVID camp and just never
COVID gulag.
Again.
Yeah.
So we got halfway through it. We were just about to go into this vortex, like atop a pyramid, and they'd made an airship out of like Kraken and stuff like that. Second time the Kraken has come up in this conversation, and they go next time. Do you know what? We'd really like to do a sci-fi game. Now, this is where our points diverge, Arthadian, because you found a system that actually just works very well with sci-fi. I was a bit too naive and just like, I'll just try and rewrap Dungeons and Dragons around it, which I probably could have. Then I didn't. I was like, maybe I'll just make my own system. Mistake.
Yeah.
10 years later, and here we are still waiting for the system.
Here I am, just getting bullied by my friends.
Honestly, I've been wanting to try out Alchemy. Like since Matt has talked to me about it, I've been wanting to try it out. And I know Matt's been making the rules
my friend circle know about it. The social pressure is unbelievable. Okay, no. Now other people know about it. I've got to crack on. This is on the internet for everyone to see. I will begin again.
You'll begin again.
Yeah.
Also, now is literally.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah. And now is the time. From what I've heard, like I am the layman when it comes to this conversation. But from what I can hear, it's all gone a bit topsy turvy in the tabletop role playing world when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons. So
yeah,
is that our segue?
I think it is.
I think it might be our segue. Yeah, I think it might be. So I recorded. So this is number 10. I recorded number 11 before number 10, and I talked about this with Tim Dempsey, who you'll meet shortly, and we talked about this before there were like developments, right? Because since number 10, no, this is number 10. This is number 9 that we did, yeah, and number 11. A whole bunch of things have happened. So Paizo, who make Pathfinder, released a thing, and they're releasing their own OGL called the Orc.
You've got another company releasing, I think it's Cobalt Press, are going ahead with Operation Black Flag.
Yeah.
Which they haven't confirmed, but everyone's pretty much convinced it's going to be their own.
Isn't Cobalt Press going with the Orc? Like, actually signing on to the Orc?
They've not confirmed yet. So they announced, as far as I know, they didn't confirm yet. They announced Project Black Flag pretty quickly after the whole thing kicked off, like before the Orc was announced. And then next thing, that Paizo announced the Orc. It could be that they work together and tie Black Flag into it, would be my guess, or they just don't need Black Flag and just go with the Orc. But yeah, that's effectively the long and short is Paizo announced the Orc, and hey, we'll be the new guys in the D&D space.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is one of the things that's really kind of annoyed me about this, the entire conversation around this.
What has happened for the layman's, gentlemen?
Okay, so for the layman, D&D had what's called an OGL, an open gaming license that third-party creators could use to effectively create their own content for D&D and monetize it. And it would be legal and above board and Dungeons & Dragons approved.
Long-standing tradition within
2002, I think the original one was written. And
because they had one for 3.5.
Yeah, one for 3.5.
Then something happened with 4.
So this is the thing. So 4th edition, they kind of tried this already. With 4th edition, they didn't release an SRD, to my knowledge. They released a different thing, which basically meant you could release, but there were some other stipulations attached to it, and basically everyone went, we're good, we'll stick with 3.5, thank you.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
the
what all
SRDs now.
So-
this system resource document.
Yes,
Correct,
so
I think.
you have two things. You have the OGL, Open Gaming License, and the SRD, which is System Resource Document. The OGL is the license, the SRD is the D&D rule set light. It's not an exact replica to my knowledge. I think it's slightly...
It's supposed the SRD is supposed to actually help creators to actually create
Build.
within the actual system itself.
This is like your toolkit then for creating
Yeah.
your own products and things like
think
that.
if in video games terms, it would be like your Unreal Engine 5 toolkits, basically.
Okay.
It's how you build the thing around it.
Mhm.
Then, what Dungeons and Dragons tried to do, because capitalism, is go, cool, we're gonna revoke the 1.0 OGL, which, although technically was never said to be irrevocable, everyone who originally was part of that process was like, yeah, it was kind of intended to be irrevocable. Like we wrote that in the spirit of this will stand the test of time and never be changed.
Okay.
And with the new one came a lot of additional conditions, mostly around the fact that if you're releasing third-party content and you're monetizing it above a certain amount, it's $750,000. You have to pay Wizards a royalties fee of about 25%.
Mhm.
Kickstarter campaigns had another different fee structure on it, which was expensive. For me, when I saw this, the more draconian language, I said this to Matt, is what Wizards wanted in return. So Wizards inserted a clause that said that they had a royalty-free license to use your content as well.
Okay.
So you retained ownership of it, but Wizards could use it
Mhm. And not pay you.
and not pay you for that at all. So you have to pay Wizards to release and monetize content, but they never have to pay you a penny for anything you've made. They want to use it.
Now-
Sorry,
go on.
Karen, Matt.
No, go on.
And yeah, long story short, a lot of creators kicked off because originally the language wasn't very clear. People were like, well, does that affect YouTubers? Does it affect Twitch streamers, VTTs, all this sort of stuff? Because what's covered, what's not. D&D Dungeons & Dragons said nothing for about a week.
Yeah, and then they said something which we're going to have a look at in a minute.
And in the interim, a number of bigger D&D creators on YouTube, I think D&D Shorts was one, a couple others, received supposedly
Ginny D as well.
Yeah, Ginny D received supposedly leaks from sources inside Wizards of the Coast. Again, pinch of salt, you never know for definite, but seems likely to me. Basically saying that, yeah, the company doesn't care about the players, it just sees an obstacle to the money.
And
And
these,
if you
and
want to
these-
really hurt them, cancel your subscriptions because that's what they care about.
and they've lost 40K
40,000.
subscribers that we know of. It could be more,
Yeah.
right? So
Just one quick thing. The actual OGO, I believe. Wait, I believe it got published in 2000.
2000.
okay.
Okay. I knew it was early 2000. I couldn't remember if it was
Long
exactly
time.
10 or... Yeah, it's been around for a long time is the point.
Hmm.
And
Now
it hasn't been-
something that you mentioned there, Karl, which I was about to rant about before you started, was that this is a facet of capitalism. If we're going to say it's a facet of capitalism, we have to say it's all a facet of capitalism, including the market reaction and them getting pantsed. That is a function of, like, you can't just saying, well, this is a big business doing. Well, actually, Karl, all of it is all of it is.
I think you'll find, Karl.
I think you're right.
I think you'll find. This is the free market
absolutely.
functioning exactly as it is supposed to.
Yes.
Someone fucks around, and
And the rest of the
capitalism
market
is
tell
then
them to fuck
finding
off.
out. Yeah,
And the
So
market
put-
responds by going, go to fucking hell.
yeah, yeah. And it's
Ultimately,
and
sorry.
it's a massive, like, part of, like, the thing is, like, them not saying anything allowed Paizo, who made Pathfinder, to jump in and go, all right, then we'll
take the first step.
we'll jump on this, we'll take this, because if
Start
you're
picking over the
dropping it-
carcass.
It literally
Basically.
gave their competition the edge
Mhm.
over them.
Absolutely.
They shot themselves in the foot. They buried themselves, and it's just.
The funniest thing to me is that I don't know what Wizards were thinking in terms of what did they think the reaction was going to be when you scrap a document that's 20 plus years old that basically says, hey, go nuts.
Probably
build
you
your
think that
stuff.
no one will find out and no one will care.
The problem is they had to send these documents to the content creators ahead of time with NDAs and say you have a week to sign this or you cannot.
Again,
produce
they didn't want
content.
anyone to find out. An NDA means
Yeah.
But if you don't sign
Don't tell
the NDA,
anyone that we're going to do something naughty.
but every one of those content creators is like I said, like Matt said, like capitalism. Every one of those content creators has an incentive to not sign that NDA and shout, "Hey, Wizards is doing some fuckery," because
Like
it's going to affect our bottom lines.
The flip side, the other side of this as well is they released it on a holiday weekend.
Mhm.
They put so it wasn't a draft. It was just the first. It was their proposal for the new OGL 1.1, which they're now calling OGL 2.0 to mess around with search engines.
And they keep trying to claim the one they sent out was a draft document when it absolutely wasn't. It was the actual document.
Yeah, because you don't send a draft.
My question is why go from 1.1 to 2.0? Like what's
because
it's so different from the because if it's 1 point something and you search in Google, it will still find 1.1. If you search OGL 2.0, it will, in theory, hide those results further back, and you're less likely to see it.
It makes it seem like two different things.
I understand that, but like their line of thinking of thinking like, oh, we're going to like no one's going to know like the difference. Like this is just a draft document. And it's like, wait a second, if it's a draft document, why go from like each draft? Why does it skip all these numbers?
Yeah, so that's not how drafting works. That's literally a new version.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted to do this very, very, very quietly. Like they wanted
very quickly,
as we said. And I went over this. there's like a number of possibilities with this, and I think the least charitable one is actually the one, right? Because it's either, which I was thinking about that. I was talking about this with Tim. Slight spoiler for this. It's either Hasbro's leaning on them hard, and this is mainly Hasbro's doing, or they don't know their own game, and or like Wizards of the Coast just have no idea what they're doing at all. And the third kind of that I thought recently, it's a slightly more kind of in-depth thing, is like this is negotiation. This is their first thing that they sent out was the big ask. And now they're getting feedback back so they can like, this is what we are saying. Now we can scale this back and we can look good. And I think it's a mix of the two.
I'm more inclined to believe it's a combination of 1 and 2, and 3 is going to be the outcome. I don't believe that this was ever intended to be a negotiation start point. As me and Matt were briefly talking about this beforehand, the current CEO of Wizards, I can't remember her name, I think it's Cynthia Williams or something like that.
Lady McClayton.
Has been quoted as saying that as a brand, Dungeons and Dragons is under monetized, and that they want to unlock the kind of recurrent spending they see in video games, which could, conveniently, we're now seeing D&D releasing their own virtual tabletop, so with the subscription model. And like I said to Matt, this is quite conspiratorial thinking, and it's probably not the case, but I could see it. If you're going to a subscription model, and if the numbers that are being leaked are true, and the top tier is $30 a month, you're going to have to provide a lot of content very often to justify that price.
Yes.
And if your 1.1 OGL says, hey, we can use your content royalty free and we haven't got to pay you a penny, how quickly
how long before we start
seeing? Yeah, you're basically buying a book a month. So
I'm going to play real heavy devil's advocate here.
All right. Let's hear it.
So, I mean, like subscription models, they are everywhere. Like everything has been going that way for a while. Microtransactions, everything like that. It was only
I have a subscription model too, so yeah, I'm
exactly right. Like myself as a coach, like subscription model, community, boom, boom, boom. It's everywhere. Secondly, 40,000 leaving from D&D Beyond. I've just seen they got 10 million people on there. That is a drop in the ocean to them. They don't give a toss about that.
It's 40,000 that we know
of. The final thing,
and are they 10 million paying people as well? Is the question. Because you can have a free account.
Okay.
You get D&D, and you don't have to pay for an account.
But 30 quid, people bash that into a gym that they never go to.
Oh, I'm not denying people wouldn't pay it, but I think when it comes, you're talking about tabletop RPGs. They're a special kind of nerd, let's be honest. If you're paying that level, you're going to want a lot out of it. But like Arthur said, that's a book a month in cost.
Right, okay.
Generally, D&D don't release that many books a year. What, maybe 1 to 2, pushing it 3? you're talking $90 a year. Suddenly you're charging $360 a year for your subscription on D&D Beyond.
Now here's the thing. Here's the thing that's extra. So this VTT stuff and the $30 a month. This has come out since. This
Hang
is
on,
another
VTT.
leak.
We keep using TLAs,
Virtual
gentlemen.
tabletop.
Virtual tabletop.
like Roll20.
Okay.
Virtual tabletop. This has come out since. This is another leak, right? Basically, on D&D Beyond, they're closing off homebrew to people at the lower levels of subscription, and only at like $30 and up. Well, $30 is the top thing. I think only then.
$30 is the top tier, so I think that's the only one. That's from what I've heard.
Now, because they've got this virtual tabletop, potentially what they can do is, well, we're just going to release more customization options. We're going to release more monsters. We're going to release more stat blocks. We're going to release a bunch of stuff monthly,
which is
that can go on the virtual tabletop.
I also heard. Forgive me if I'm wrong here, but I also heard that they're working on taking content from creators and then putting it into an AI an AI to actually have artificial DMs running campaigns. Yep.
The other is if you can't find a DM to run a campaign for you, they will have an AI system that will do it for you.
Yeah.
Again, all of this is alleged. It's come from leaks. We don't know if it's true or not.
Flashy and trendy though. A lot of people like it.
But for $30, you could do that once and buy Solasta, and you can create your own shit. And it's basically you have an AI there. It's the game engine.
Any CRPG on PC is going to cost you a one-off fee, and it's effectively what you're going to get from an AI DM, because that's what they are. Baldur's Gate is an AI DMing a campaign for you. It like I said, the conspiracy theory for me is, if you're talking about $30 a month, you need a fuck ton of content to be throwing into that system to keep people engaged.
I think they'll find the content.
Well, I think here's the thing. So from the guy who knows bugger all about this and is probably going to play devil's advocate throughout this whole thing. Okay,
that's fine.
Not that I believe it, but I think we need it. What does concern me about this is what you guys were saying about that you guys can, you guys are game creators, you can use this, but you're gonna have to pay us some money, and also we can take this from you. And so there's all their content.
That's what I mean.
That's
for me what is for me is what is the most dangerous thing about that OGL. It's not
I think that's
the money is the big issue. Absolutely, the money is a big issue, because for content that's how you make your money. Losing 25% your it's not even your profit; it's your gross revenue. So that's before all your stuff gets deducted. They take it off. The bigger concern for me is, as a third-party creator, having the wizards go, "Oh, you create a new subclass. Yeah, cool. We like that. That's going to go into our system free of charge. Thank you very much." So why would anyone buy your content when it's now on the system for free?
I think that's a really, really damaging aspect of this. That's what I cannot play devil's advocate on at all. That
was the bit of the new OGL. But when I read that,
it's hard to play devil's advocate. It's hard to play devil's advocate on something that literally the entire community is against.
Yeah, because that's like, bonkers, isn't it? They don't have to make anything anymore, because there is such a passionate community. That if everyone just went, just tell us what to do, then my God, there is a wealth of content for them to just go.
See, this is one of the things I hate about like I love the people that you can meet doing this. I love the passion people have, but I hate that it can be so weaponized against people. This is the reason why like Bethesda haven't released a complete game since ever. Yeah, because they're like, oh, it's fine. The fans will just fix it on PC. Yeah. And it doesn't. We don't have to create anything because the fans will just do it.
The interesting thing that for me is as something you said in the snippet you uploaded from 9 between you said nothing. They were talking. You said you can't monetize imagination. You fucking can, because that's what Blizzard's trying to do.
Enough.
That's what they're trying to do,
and that's what Bethesda have tried to do by, like you said, we're not going to fix this game because we know there's a massive community of modders will do it for us. Why should we put the money into it?
Was it similar to what they did with Creation Club as well?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Well, how they should have done it is allow creators to create. I mean, allow creators to create official content for D&D, like actually having it be official, like for Wizards of the Coast, and then giving the creator like a larger portion of the pie, and then taking like maybe like 10%, kind of like how Kickstarters do it, where and it's like you're literally doing a Kickstarter, but now you're helping smaller creators like fund their stuff for your system, and now you just have all these people who are funding this up, and then you're just getting like small pieces of pie from all their communities. They should have done it like that. It would have promoted them.
The passion is so high, we've set your camera on fire.
Your camera is now on fire, Arthadian.
Perfect. I'm going to switch that out.
Middle of the most impassioned speech you had so far, and immediately camera goes, internal temperature too high, it needs to cool. Like, that's how much
it's interesting. And there is such an easy way to remedy this. Like, even you keep it all the same. Like, so like in my business, like I will take a fine, like I'll have to pay a finder's fee, like from other companies and stuff like that, and I'll pay 25% out. That'll be gone. And if that were to happen, fine, okay. With this, we can use whatever we want. Can we just like have you know what they do with like what they did with NFTs before they all just went, where you would sell it, then it gets sold again, you get a piece of the pie. Switch it around. Give me 25% of whatever you're putting on D&D Beyond. Whenever they pay it, just pay me. Give me some of my fucking pie. All right.
It's interesting you say it, because there's a few other things floating around as well. One of the things I've seen a lot of people suggesting is there are a number of different VTTs out there. One of the ones that I've heard about is called, annoyingly, it's called Alchemy. It's not.
Why not bring it out 10 years ago?
It's not a game system. It's effectively a D&D Beyond competitor, and it's a marketplace in which you, like D&D Beyond, you can buy the books on there. They have got books from free leagues, a load of stuff on there already. And one of the things they're trying to do is also make a streaming system on there. I've downloaded to have a quick look, and one of the things that they do is they actually show online games. So if you're running a campaign, you can set it to have spectators.
That's cool.
So you can basically use it as a platform to do it. Because that was one of the big concerns that a lot of people had for, well, one of the things that people were pointing out about the OGL is what happens to Critical Role. Because
nothing will happen to Critical
Role.
Role.
Nothing's going to happen.
They won't touch them.
Not.
They wouldn't touch them in a million years, because they would kill the golden goose.
There's some of your lovely marketing coming off.
They are definitely. I'm pretty sure Critical Role is definitely thinking about making their own system. And,
they are.
Are
they
pissed
have
off about. Yeah,
they have their own publishing company. The last Tal'Dorei book was published by Critical Role's in-house publishing rather than through Wizards. So I can see them doing a lot more of that rather than working directly with Wizards. But
I think too many backs are being scratched on their end, and I don't think they're gonna. Also, they're sort of grandfathered into. Particularly, I mean, they're on their third campaign. They get like tens of thousands of views on it.
True. But how much of those views are from the mechanical system they're using to play, and how much of that is because of the people who are playing it? And a lot of what they play is custom.
Well, the thing is, the two go hand in hand. The two go hand in hand because they've inspired a lot of people to play D&D.
I think and I think your funnel in is knowing the name, knowing the brand, coming to that, seeing how fun it is with all of these, really skilled like players and creators and everything like that, and then maybe I could do a Critical Role. They're the gateway drug.
Oh, absolutely.
They're the devil's lettuce.
Well, this is there's a lot of. This is the thing, really. The people getting mad about this stuff are the people paying attention to it. And the people who are getting a lot of people are not paying attention to it.
Yep.
They go like, oh, I'm just going to watch Critical Role. There we go. Well, they're lovely. Oh, wow, I'm going to buy the starter set now. I'm going to subscribe to D&D Beyond now. Like, it's a lot of just... We need to get into this response, man, because this is like they didn't talk about this. Wizards of the Coast, they said nothing. They allowed people to like chat and destroy them effectively. There's been there's been legal question marks on whether or not they can even revoke the OGL in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, because we don't know. Paizo think they can't.
There's also
because they were there.
as to whether or not they can even copyright half of the stuff that would require the OGL in the first place.
Mm.
As people point out, most of D&D is not copyrightable because it's impression. The only things that could be are mechanics, which a lot of creators already build their own mechanics. So anyway,
now
let's go through the response.
No, this is the first response. This is one that a lot of people have already covered. So we're just gonna. There's just a few things really to go to kind of touch on here. This really pissed me off, and I'll tell you what pissed me off.
Can you highlight what pissed you off, Matt?
So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and
Control A.
This stuff. Right. Okay. So
all words.
All of these entertainment companies, all of these big entertainment conglomerates, they all have the exact same playbook of how they deal with this kind of blowback. And it is lean into buzzwords, buzzwords, hateful and discriminatory, inclusive and diverse, major corporation. It's the same playbook every single time.
Also, second line, want to address those attempting to use D&D and Web3 blockchain games at NFTs. But
right, even like Hasbro,
OGL doesn't cover that.
It doesn't cover that, and Hasbro are currently engaging in NFTs with Power Ranger stuff. So
yeah,
and we wanted to ensure the OGL is for the content creator, the homebrewer, the aspiring designer, our players, and the community. Well, we can knock this one out immediately because D&D Beyond is locking homebrew out.
You also really knock off the content creator because we want your money, please.
Yeah. Well, like the Kickstarter thing. This I mean, it kills a lot of Kickstarters. That amount of money is just going to completely smash it.
One of the things I say quickly this that really wound me up is not major corporations to use this for their own commercial and promotional purposes. Wizards is the major corporation, and that's exactly what they're fucking trying to do.
Yeah,
they're trying to use this OGL for their own benefit. What other major company is trying to use D&D and use via the OGL that hasn't got a fucking deal in place with Wizards?
They made $1 billion last year.
Yeah,
$1 billion.
It's $1 billion.
Like, I don't know. Now, I don't think that's $1 billion in profit. It's probably $1 billion total.
Yeah, but
it's
still,
$1 billion, right?
No third-party creator is making anywhere fucking near that money.
And you're going off to like Paizo and Kobold Press.
Yeah,
they're not making $1 billion.
They're not making that money.
And early drafts bullshit.
They were the
clear bullshit.
Our job is to
OGLs. Our job is to be good stewards of the game. Well, you failed. Exists for the benefit of the fans. Well, yes, that's true, but
they at least admit that they failed because it says, however, it's clear that from the reaction that we rolled a 1.
Yeah, guys, we rolled a 1.
That stupid corporate trying to be jovial bullshit pisses me off more. Stop trying to use like insider terms in your apology. Just write the fucking apology. Come out and say we fucked up. We shouldn't have done what we did. Stop trying to play it off as a game. You fucked up.
So, I mean, it's
a lot of
talk about the royalty stuff here as well.
There's just so much gaslighting as well in that last section.
The last thoughts is the best part.
So this also annoyed me. Right? Thank you for caring enough to let us know what works and what doesn't, what you need, and what scares you. What scares you?
What scares you? That's that fuck off.
Scared? No one's scared. Everyone is annoyed.
And what annoys me?
Everyone is annoyed.
They're trying to phrase it as if this was some sort of feedback process they gave to the fans. No, you try to force a new version of a license onto creators, saying if you do not sign this and this NDA, you cannot make content.
We love D&D's. We love D&D's devoted players and creators. No, you don't.
No. They do. We mistype what they meant to say. Because according to the leaks, what they said, we love D&D's player wallets.
Yeah, and these are obstacles to their money. Not the customer's money, to their money.
Yeah. If the league is to believe that is the exact language uses that they believe players are an obstacle to their money. They view the customer's money as their own before they even get it.
Drafts again, complete bullshit.
The whole thing after the next OGL, basically, the last half of that is just gaslighting. Because it's just.
Is this the last thing that's come out?
No, this is the first one.
This was their first statement, which came out about a week after the controversy kicked off.
So no real substance in this whatsoever.
No, It's all just we got it wrong, but we didn't get it wrong, but we got it wrong, but we didn't get it wrong. This is this one
This is the latest
most recent.
one. Right. So this is 3 hours ago, as of recording. Right?
Okay.
By Kyle Brink. I don't know who you are, Kyle Brink. Let's see.
He is the executive producer of D&D on D&D.
All right.
Next part of the sentence, Matt.
Literally the first line.
Hi, I'm Kyle Brink, executive producer in D&D. Well, that clears that up. It's my team that
At
makes
least he
the
knows
game
how to
we all
introduce
play.
himself.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Shall I read it out in my best reading out voice?
Please
Go
do.
for it.
Hi, I'm Kyle Brink, the executive producer on D&D. It's my team that makes the games we all play. D&D has been a huge part of my life long before I worked at Wizards, and will be for a long time after I'm done. My mission, and that of the entire D&D team, is to help bring everyone the creative joy and lifelong friendships that D&D has given us. These past days and weeks have been incredibly tough for everyone. As players, fans, and stewards of the game, we can't, and we won't, let things continue like this.
Okay, we're going to need to pause there for a second.
I already feel a bit like worried about what's going to happen after this. Is Kyle coming after me? Can you just shut your fucking
Kyle.
mouth and give us my money?
Yeah.
They've sent a 12th level assassin after you. So be careful.
Absolutely.
Literally, all
Right.
they need to do, all Kyle needs to do is like, we will not be releasing any 2.0 and keeping 1.0 staying the same. Thank you.
Two changes. We will not be releasing a new version of the OGL. And the second change is we have now updated the 1.0 OGL to include a provision that says that is by law it is irrevocable. Legally now cannot make a change.
If
That's
I did
it.
that, literally everyone would stop freaking out and then continue to play D&D, and then we indie creators would still have to deal with our crap.
In fact, I'm going to highlight all of this. Right. So these past days and weeks have been incredibly tough for everyone. This is another corporate tactic that is used.
Yep.
Oh, members of our staff are getting so much hate online. They're getting such abuse from very toxic fans, and
Except that
we just want it to stop. Like, it's the same thing. It's the Star Wars
what
do
makes
it.
this one worse? What makes this one worse is that their own employees are leaking to members of the content creation unit saying, "Hey, yeah, we all fucking hate these people. They're trying to ruin this game. It's bullshit. We don't like them."
Oh, they're gone now, Carl. They've been put in the gulag. They're gone.
Oh, absolutely, they have.
They're gone.
well, because as long as we don't know who leaked it, and they don't know who leaked it, then
they can't do them.
This guy, Kyle Brink, is putting himself in with them. As players, fans, and stewards of the game, we can't and we won't let things continue like this. Okay, so that's a general. Let things continue like what? Let what continue like what?
Yeah, I didn't like that line at all.
Well,
I felt like Carl was going to come, like, bring the hammer down on me. I really did.
The thing is, they're trying to frame this as if there is as if the fan base is being toxic because of something that they have no control over. When the reality is, the fan base is pissed because the company tried to fuck everybody over.
I'm coming back to here because we missed something out.
Oh, don't do the whole
part.
Yeah,
okay.
But we're not going to release the OGL today because everyone is kicking us for it. Second, you're going to hear people say that they won and we lost because making your voices heard forced us to change our plans. These people will only be half right. They won, and so did we. Right. So they've said there's a winner and a loser.
Was this Kyle as well?
I don't think so.
That's a good question.
Wait, scroll up.
No, it was D&D
No,
Beyond Star. All of them. It was the Eldritch Beast
Kyle.
that is all of them.
Probably
It was
Probably
very
is that.
Kyle in how he's written.
It's written. It's the same sort of
It's
language.
written
same-
like a big bad evil guy.
Exactly.
Mm.
So
It's-
did we.
It's like concern. You know, concern trolling. It's a bit like that.
Uh-huh.
We can't wait. Right. So let's continue from I am
Shall I
here
continue?
today. If you like, if you feel like you're getting a bit nauseous,
I can
We're
do
gonna
it.
take a break.
all right,
You guys just tell me when we need to touch upon things, okay?
right.
Yeah.
But I will start with the sort of the ominous foreshadowing. These past days and weeks have been incredibly tough for everyone. As players, fans, and stewards of the game, we can't and we won't let things continue like this. Bum, bum, bum. I am here today to talk about a path forward. First, though, let me start with an apology. We are sorry. We got it wrong.
We're
Stop
I
there.
thought you said you got it right and you got it wrong, Kyle.
This is that
We're
again.
sorry.
Yeah, that's it for me as well. We got
This
it
is
wrong.
all I can hear, actually, Arthadian, is that part in South Park where what was it?
Yes.
With the
That is it.
with Shell, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Yeah. No,
Shell will
it's
beat it.
it's with the company
It was the oil company that
BP
leaked it.
Like Deepwater.
BP Oil.
BP, isn't it?
BP
BP
Oil.
Oil,
Hey,
yeah.
we're sorry.
We're sorry.
It is just
Again.
that.
This is pure PR.
Yep.
Our language and requirements in the draft OGL were
Not a
destructive
draft.
to creators, and
It was not a draft. It was not a
not in
draft.
support of our core goals of protecting and cultivating an inclusive play environment and limiting the OGL, thought it was a draft OGL,
Inclusive.
to TTRPGs. When we compounded things by being silent, then we compounded things by being silent for too long. We hurt fans and creators when more frequent and clear communications could have prevented so much of this. And you knew that going in.
I feel like
Yeah,
we're going to be. I feel like we're going to be stopping after every paragraph.
And you
Oh,
knew
yeah.
that going in.
There's a lot of bullshit in this response.
Cultivating an inclusive play environment. Again, buzzwords. We're going to buzzwords you to death because there are stupid people that will fall for it. Oh, they're saying the right things.
You know what's crazy is that the people who actually like look for that kind of terminology, they are even still like beating down on wizards because they're using that terminology and
because
like,
it's so
they can
obvious.
see through the lies.
Yeah,
they can
it's
see
such
through the
an
lies.
obvious. It's such an obvious play that even people who want that kind of stuff going, come on, fuck off, come on.
It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same obvious play, but they all use.
Mm-hmm.
Again, draft. No, it's not a draft.
Not a draft.
We know it's not a draft. It's been proven that it's not a draft.
Well,
Core goals. What are your
in the
core
same
goals?
sentence, they don't use draft again. They just call it the OGL.
Limiting the OGL TTRPG. Yeah, we compounded things by being silent for too long. Yes, you did.
More fans and creators. Right now, this is an interesting one. Starting now, we're going to do this in a better way, more open and transparent with our entire community of creators. Now, from what you've told me, this also affects players as well, doesn't it? Does this affect players, or have I got that wrong?
Indirectly,
it might. Yeah.
With the whole subscription model and everything like that, like if you want it with the D&D 1 thing, you told me about this
with D&D 1 and D&D Beyond. It's going to affect players in some way.
Yeah. With the time to reiterate, to get feedback, to improve, use it. Rule of 3 makes it sound better.
Here's the thing.
That's a writing thing, isn't it, Matt?
Yes, it is.
Here's the thing, though. We're going with our community of creators. Do you know what every one of those creators will tell them? Leave it the fuck alone. Stop
leave it alone.
With it.
Do nothing.
Leave it at the 1.0. Don't fuck with it.
Don't touch it. If this sounds familiar, it's because it's how we do it for the game itself.
No, it's not.
So let's do it that way for the OGL too.
Right. I just have to say, like, literally, the fact that he had to write this entire thing is like, okay, like all you have to do is write down those like few sentences that Karl and I already explained, and like because they haven't done that yet, you know that this is all just BS right off the start. Like there's no point.
All this is a statement of intent. We hear you. Yeah. We fucked up. We got it wrong. We're going to try and do the exact same thing, but slowly and over a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to try and trick you again. That's it. Like all of this language that they're using, like we're using very big words here, very, very, very polished, very nice, very buzzy words.
It's a PR stunt to try to make sure that they can try to soften the blow that they've.
Like you said,
they jumped off of the cliff.
It is the written equivalent of "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Well, what this is, it's laying themselves at our feet, groveling, pretending they care. They don't care.
Now they don't do this for the game itself either, right?
No.
People complain extensively about the power creep in D&D, about how bad things like how bad things like Spelljammer have been, and how jacked up all of the how imbalanced certain things are.
Yeah,
and they don't fix it. They don't do anything. So, and this is
again.
So,
they don't talk to third-party creators about the content they make. The creators just make it and release it.
Now, another thing is, this is so there was a thing that happened with eBay a while ago, right? Where they changed their logo. I can't remember if it was from white to yellow or yellow to white. They changed it, and people went, "We don't like it." this is rubbish, change it back. And they did. And over the course of maybe a year, they incrementally shifted it until it went from white to sort of yellowy white to more yellow to yellow.
Yep.
They just did it slowly over time.
It'll be death by 1,000 cuts. They won't. They won't just try and put a new OGL out there. They'll just subtly try and change. What they'll probably try and do over the course of next year is when one D&D comes out, they'll probably release a different document. What I can see happening is 4th edition all over again, where they will release something that is not compatible with the SRD and the OGL. And
well, this is why they're trying to do it with 5e. This is the thing. You couldn't do this. You couldn't get away with this with 4th edition because 4th edition wasn't very good. You can get away with it. You have a higher chance of getting away with it
because
with 5e because it's popular. It's easy for people to get into. It's one that a lot of people play. And it went back to things that people liked in 3.5.
Yeah.
Where were we up to?
We're now down to we'll listen to you. And then we will share with you what we've heard, much like we do in our Unearthed Arcana and 1D&D playtests. This will be a robust conversation before we release any future version of the OGL. Can I continue on to here's what to expect? Because I want to see what's at the bottom of these points here. So I want to see how long this robust conversation will be. Because at the moment it looks like it's going to be for 2 weeks.
3 points.
It appears as though it will be for 2 weeks. Okay.
Okay. So. Well, again, we'll get to it, but they brought up an Arcana again, where everything's fucking overpowered and it sucks. But here's what to expect.
You know, it's just 2 weeks of slow to spread, you guys. Slow to spread.
Oh my word! Flashback. What a parallel.
Oh,
I cannot do that again. Cannot do that again.
Oh no, it's that all over again.
Here's what to expect with the D&D pandemic. On or before Friday, January 20th, we'll share the new proposed OGL documentation for your review and feedback, much as we do with playtest materials.
Will they share the fine print, is the question.
Okay. After you review the proposed OGL, you'll be able to fill out a quick survey, much like Unearthed Arcana playtest feedback surveys. It will ask you specific questions about the document and include open form fields to share any other feedback you have. The survey will remain open, for at least 2 weeks, a little bit better, but it could be, 2 years, much like the pandemic. And we'll give you advance notice before it closes so that everyone who wants to participate can complete the survey. We will then compile, analyze, react to, and present back what we heard from you.
Right. So here's the thing. So this is going to be heavily censored, and it's going to be heavily curated.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're basically going to take into account what they want to hear. And they're going to discount anything that doesn't make them money.
Like you said, 40,000 people.
They'll probably try to take the wording from the community to make it sound like how the community wants it, but put in like a weird, I don't know, legalese like text that people don't understand.
Wizards will have an army of lawyers that will look over what everything is said and go, right, how can we, using this language, basically do the exact same thing? How can we say that we now own your content, or we get a royalty-free license to it, and you have to pay us if you want to release content, without us having to say in black and white text that's what's happening? How do we gussy this up? How do we put it in a pretty dress so people don't hate it, and then release the exact same document we want to release at the start of the year? That's what this will end up being. Because the only feedback that the actual content creators are going to give is leave the fucking thing alone.
So here's the thing though. They don't have to do that. The better move for them, PR wise, is to scale back a bunch of that. It's still going to make it still very, very draconian, and still very money grabbing, but at least it's not that thing at the start of the year. And then they'll look better. And for a lot of people, for a lot of stupid people, that'll be enough. Which sucks. But finally,
you deserve some stability and clarity. We are committed to giving creators both input into and room to prepare for any update to the OGL. Also,
so not a week then.
There's a ton of stuff that isn't going to be affected by an OGL update. So today, right now, we'll lay out all the areas that this conversation won't touch.
Right. So before we get into that, though, they get that first thing that they sent out they gave people a week to sign it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But hey, here's
1
new
week.
OGL, sign it. We need it back by the 13th of January. But what? Like this is a pretty major change. Yeah, we need it back now. That was basically what it was. That's how it all kicked off.
Now they had another response. Now this is the funny thing that before the other response they had another response that they deleted. I read that response. I didn't get a copy of it, but I read it.
Will it be
And
on Archive or like Time Machine or anything?
Like a Wayback Machine kind of.
It probably
Wayback.
would be, but I didn't prepare for that, and it's only just occurred to me.
Yeah.
But they really minimized it in that. They were like, just fucking calm down, was basically the message in that one, which is probably why it's been deleted.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely, it is.
Like the thing about the 750k thing, they were like, this is going to affect like 20 people, so just calm, just
None of you are as good as you think you are, so shut up, all right?
yeah.
So for me, I would say as well, for me, this last part is this is a list of people who are making a lot of noise about this issue. And it's like, hey, look, we're conceding this to you, so please shut the fuck up now.
Yes,
You are not going to be
this is a
affected by
shut
this
up.
anymore.
This is the shut up section.
This is a please shut up section.
Yeah. So, Kyle, take it away.
Any changes to the OGL will have no impact on at least these creative efforts. Your video content, whether you are a commentator, streamer, podcaster, live play cast member, or other video creator on platforms like YouTube and Twitch and TikTok, you have always been covered by the Wizards fan content policy. The OGL doesn't and won't touch any of this.
Okay, that's us covered, basically.
Yeah, we're good.
Like in terms of all this stuff, we're covered.
Okay. Your accessories.
Something.
Your accessories for your own content. No changes to the OGL will affect your ability to sell minis, novels, apparel, dice, and other items related to your creations, characters, and worlds.
Okay, citation needed on the novels part.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably bullshit on the novel end.
Yeah, that was the one that struck out to me the most.
Yeah. Surely, if you're producing novels, you would need a different kind of license, right? Or that would be licensed.
You would need to use different, like you would need to not use D&D stuff, right?
So
you know that the Four Guardians series is partly based on our campaign that was in D&D.
Is it?
Yes. I didn't. I changed. There is no D&D in there at all.
No, you cannot smell it.
I made sure it wasn't in there because I was like, this is a corporation, and they probably. I mean, if it took off, I'd be like, well, they can just throw a hammer at me.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I was like, okay, well, let's take away any ammunition they might
any
have.
references,
any and everything that smells even remotely like D&D. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the novels that stuck out to me.
Again,
very interesting.
The thing for me is that sounds like something. If you want to write a book set in your own world, that's fine. But that would have been anyway. Like, if I'm writing a novel set in a world I built, that was never your concern. So, but again, if I'm writing a book that is clearly D&D, I'm using D&D characters. Guess what? That's not going to be. You would have to do that.
Yeah, the OGL probably doesn't cover it because they'll just come after you and be like,
Again, this is
if you write a novel, you're just fucked. Right.
Basically, yeah.
So this is one of the legal questions that comes up from it. It's just, well, what is covered by the OGL and what's not? What's copyright and what's trademark? Because they're not the same thing.
I reckon you get into some really odd, like weird grey area with like
basically
things like that.
The easy voting is if it is a character or something that is explicitly exists within Wizards of the Coast Dungeons and Dragons universe, like Drizzt, like a few like characters, you cannot use them without permission. They are owned content.
Yeah.
If you set something in Faerun or a world that D&D have built, that is not allowed.
I feel like they would extend to
fantasy world, then they can't touch you for that.
Well, I feel like it would extend to like the races and the planes and things like that as well.
Some races definitely, because some of them are not generic. But other ones you couldn't. If you write a book about elves, they can't do it. They can touch you because elves are in public domain because things like Tolkien and stuff like that. But if you start rocking out like Genasi or Tiefling and stuff like that, then you're fucked because that's specific D&D content. this is what I mean with the whole novels thing. Is it feels like if you're using content you've created, the novel wouldn't have been a problem anyway because it's no trace of D&D.
Yeah.
The only way you'd ever have a problem with novels if you had specific content in there.
Yeah, Trey Interessante. Anyway, onwards. Non-published works, for instance, contracted services. You use the OGL if you want to publish your works that reference 5th edition content through the source reference documents. That means commissioned works, paid dungeon master services, consulting, and so on aren't affected by the OGL.
Okay.
Virtual tabletop content, because I know what it means now. Any updates to the OGL will still allow any creator to publish content on virtual tabletops and will still allow virtual tabletop publishers to use the OGL content on their platform.
Now, I want to highlight those two for a second.
Okay.
Because Roll20 is going to be in trouble when 1D&D comes out, which is soon. Which is going to mean that paid DM services through Roll20 are going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
You're going to lose a massive platform by which you can earn money.
Yeah, because it will be on 1D&D.
So they'll have to migrate over, basically.
They'll have to migrate over.
You're DMing for VTTs. Realistically, 1D&D will be where a lot of people end up.
Yeah.
So this is like D&D was basically a monopoly. They want to be actually a monopoly. On this space.
Yes.
They want to kill off competition now. That's basically what this is all about. Just killing off any competition in the market.
And the thing about Roll20, about 95% of the stuff on Roll20 is D&D.
It's D&D.
Yeah.
I think I saw some. Yeah, it already is.
Yeah.
I think I saw somewhere as well that they think that this. Someone did some calculation. They reckon that D&D owns around 80% market share in tabletop RPG space. It is a monopoly.
Now that is going to change.
The thing is, I feel like the community is so like one-track minded that they'll end up just switching over to Pathfinder and not trying to diversify to a point where they play at least like 2 systems, like spread out a little bit more, or like have like more like variety in the games that you do play.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is part of what they're doing is they know that this is that. I think they already knew that the 1D&D thing was going to piss people off, and they were planning on having a lower market share, which is why they're monetizing things to the degree they are. And I think that doing that, them having that lower market share, is going to mean that the market share for everything else grows a little bit. Which is good for the hobby, at least. And then I think the rest of this we can blow through. So DM's Guild content.
Okay.
Kyle.
DM's Guild content. The content you release on the DM's Guild is published under a community content agreement with the Dungeon Masters Guild. This is not changing. Your OGL 1.0A content, nothing will impact any content you have published. So this is the original one.
That's the original OGL.
Okay. Nothing will impact any content you have published under the OGL. That will always be licensed under the OGL 1.0A.
Your type of jokes, Kyle. Just serious.
Sorry. So look, I'm better at Peter. I would have put a joke there. That's what I would have done. And everyone could have had a little laugh, and then they could have forgotten all about this, and then I could have stole all their fucking money. Your revenue. There will be no royalty or financial reporting requirements, but there will, won't there?
Press X it out. Yes.
Yeah.
This is the question here. This is like, until we see a new version of this document, I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Or the 1.8 thing. There's no reason to believe that either, if it's not irrevocable.
Yeah.
Exactly. Until you make something irrevocable, that can change at any point. And that's what worries me the most about this.
And then your ownership of your content. You will continue to own your content with no license back requirements. I don't think anyone's worried about that, though, are they? They're worried about the money. They're worried about like this is their livelihood, right?
So no, the concern there, the concern there was the whole, hey, you own your content, but by producing it under this OGL, Dungeons and Dragons can use it for free. Was the concern for a lot of people, because then it was like, well, why would you bother?
Basically signing a contract to allow them to use your content for whatever means necessary.
But I mean, so through all of this, that doesn't change from what they've said here.
No,
because you still have your ownership of your content.
No, it does.
It just says that they can use it.
Yeah, but that's the difference here. So the last line is you will continue with no license back agreements. What in the original 1.1 there was a license back agreement in there which said we can use your stuff for free. We don't pay you or anything. And that was the concern for a lot of creators was like, well, that screws my market because then if you can just put my books on your system without my permission, people might not come to me because again, if one D&D is going to be that big a marketplace, you're not going to go buy it from somebody else. And if it's license free or no license back, every penny made goes to Wizards and nothing goes to third party creator.
Mm-hmm. I'd like to read this last line in two very different ways.
Okay.
So when it comes to text, it's very hard to convey tone. So we can see this in two very different ways. I'll read it in my normal way first. I've been reading Karl all the way through this, and then how it could also be taken. That's all from me for now. You will hear from us on or before Friday as described above, and we look forward to the conversation. Karl Brink, executive producer, Dungeons and Dragons. Or that's all from me for now. You will hear from us on or before Friday as described above, and we look forward to the conversation. Karl Brink, executive producer, Dungeons and Dragons.
I think
I need an emoji at the end of that sentence, Kyle, to see where your tone is right now, young man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the state of play.
Why do you look forward to the conversation? Why?
Now all of this, now all of this stuff puts people like us in a bit of a position, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Because we have a D&D 5e series on the go.
We do.
And while we are not monetarily supporting Wizards of the Coast in any way, and will not,
shape or form whatsoever,
nope,
and will not, it's sort of side. It feels like playing the game at all is sort of tacit support.
Yeah,
and I don't feel good about that at all.
And I think that's partly what Wizards are relying on. They're hoping that people who are already knee-deep in campaign will keep going, because then it will make people who watch said campaign go, well, these people don't care. They're clearly still playing D&D, so if it's fine, right? No problem.
So, here's what I propose, gentlemen.
Okay, what are we going to do? No, you're not going to make me do it, are you, Matt?
Well, okay,
Alchemy, so... one weekly, come on.
So, someone else has made a system on this chat.
This channel made for you, though, me.
Well,
made for your system.
Well, this needs to be something, because I run it. This needs to be something I understand.
It's a fair point.
And I can. So
what's
I don't think it's as easily translatable into Reborn in Power.
No, probably not. If you want to like a sci-fi stuff, then I definitely recommend Reborn in Power. But
all of a sudden, it's sci-fi.
All of a sudden, well, we are in space.
Sudden, aliens crash land onto the world.
I mean, yeah,
we are in space, Matt.
Yeah, kind of.
So what do you propose, Matt?
Well, we have some options moving forward here.
Okay.
So either we can switch systems to something else. So that could be Pathfinder, which I'm sort of learning Pathfinder.
You're wincing, okay?
I mean, it's similar kind of.
It's a different action economy though in combat.
Different action economy, and as much as that would be pretty cool, it's a lot of kind of switching my brain over.
And for classes as well, they wouldn't translate directly either.
Classes wouldn't translate especially well.
Okay, so you're wincing at Pathfinder. We have a number of options. What are the other options, Matt?
Well, we have an Alchemy proof of concept.
We have Alchemy. We have the one-page light.
Okay.
Now,
if I may, I do recommend playing Alchemy, because then you can like actually playtest it for other people, and then
it's the obvious choice, isn't it?
I mean,
really?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's the Alchemy lab. Like, why not?
If we're going down that road as well, we know that I have a setting that we've used playtest material twice that functions well. And I think
here's the thing, gents.
Like that setting.
Here's the thing. We know it fucking works. We know I'm just a bit of like an idiot around this, really, and a perfectionist, which really is actually procrastination. If I was speaking to a client right now and they said perfectionism, I would say you're actually procrastinating, and you know that.
Well, I'm not suggesting we go full alchemy with it because that
I would
would
use the one
that would
I'd use
put
the-
undue pressure on you, Lee, and it would put undue pressure on me to learn
You'd have to learn the new
to
system.
learn it well enough to run it. Because this is basically what I'm suggesting is we just take Streets of Mir, we excise the 5e, and we put
i.e. the mechanical.
alchemy light in there.
Mhm.
Now I think we could. I think that would work. We would have to kind of rebuild the characters.
We would
But-
have to seriously rebuild the characters, but I don't think it's going to be that hard, is it? Really?
The whole point
I don't
of
think
Alchemy
so.
was the character creation isn't that hard and dense.
Yeah.
It's meant to be a quick pickup system for that point. So
If anything, it's essentially going to streamline Gracchus and Cassius and Calthar and oh god, you've got more than one character and Calthar and Tormund and potentially Travok if he appears.
You see,
Are
now
like
And
a
me
DM
with all
or
my
something?
NPCs.
Now what we've done is just provided me with a very interesting problem, and I love interesting problems.
Ooh.
This is why I made the system. Really, I was
Mhm.
like, I wonder if I could solve a problem. I
Can I
did.
make a sci-fi D&D?
I solved it about 7 years ago, really.
and then just keep resolving it.
And then I kept solving it again and again and again until that was such a slick answer to a problem
We
that it's ready
the
to
final
go.
the final
Okay.
time that we played my setting in that version of Alchemy was smooth
It was
and
good.
clean.
Let's do it.
The
Let's do
only
it.
complaint we had from the two newbies we introduced into it was that the character she could do with a layout redesign, not that
Yeah.
it didn't work.
Well, I can't even remember what that character sheet looked like. Was it one of the ones that was landscape? I can't even
It was
remember. I think that was the last
That was-
iteration
Oh,
before
I know.
we
I know
played.
those phases of tabletop RPG creation, which landscape,
Mm,
portrait, character sheets.
Yeah.
Well,
Can I put it on one page? Does it have to be on more than one page?
I think that's exactly what we need to do, isn't it? I think this is what we need to do, rather than
Yeah.
going, we filmed this all before the January the 20th and lie.
Hmm.
I think really as an act of solidarity to the whole thing and to get me back in
Working.
this, we need to go. We need to go and we need to rock. Let's do it.
hmm
So
And then we can even start planning
Right in
other
time for the
campaigns.
battle. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So-
exciting.
I mean, really it's getting a baptism of fire.
A baptism of
Yeah.
orc fire.
well, I think
Yeah.
we're one
That's
before the
what I'm calling it, orc fire. I don't think you have any fire, Carl.
I have a musket, dude.
The other one does. I don't remember his name anymore. It's been so long.
What, Tormund?
Tormund, thank you.
No, Tormund has lightning. Tormund
No,
literally blood
but
air shit.
lightning that makes fire.
This is true.
Can I shoot that? Bang.
Can I shoot that big metal thing with my lightning bolt?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does the metal conduct electricity, Matt? Yes, it does.
This is what happens when you play with this is what happens when you play with players who are creative. You
Well,
get
I
you
say-
get dangerously creative.
I say, yes, it does. It was, yes, it does.
the look of it was like, hang on a minute, you're doing something fun.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
going
this
to be
is
a big boom.
this is the
Mm.
baptism of fire and the real playtest that it needs, isn't it? So I think me and you, Matthew, we need to have a little convo and a little chat about this. But I think we should.
We need to put our dev hats on.
We need to put our
Yeah.
dev hats on and we need to put this together and make it look well, not make it look, it's good. It's good. We just need to see how
Mhm.
good it is.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you, Wizards of the Coast, for
Thanks, Wizards of the
finally
Coast.
sucking so
You have finally made this
finally
happen.
exist.
for presenting us with this golden opportunity.
Fuck your OGL. Alchemy's coming in.
What's that? License from to use your system? Well, we're not going to use your system at all.
We won't use your system then. Bye.
Yeah.
We won't even use dice anymore.
I'm
Do you know
gonna throw a
what's hilarious though? Do you know what's really funny? I brought my dice back. I always
Everything.
like just to sort of like as to clue you in, Arthadian. Like I live in Romania. I'm currently in the UK at the moment. Always forget my dice when I come
Never
back.
has dice.
Always. I'm always using a dice roller, and I never remember which one I use. And I'm like here, just being like, and it feels just so weak. So I'm like, must bring the dice back because we're going into the big battle now. And do you know what I didn't bring back? My lovely cards.
Oh, it's come full circle.
Oh,
So effectively,
Buy some more cards.
what this video has been then, realistically, Matt, is just a very long, protracted way of going, alchemy's fucking happening. All this was, it was a setup need to make alchemy a thing finally.
I see. I understand.
yeah. Basically, what we're saying is we made all of this up. D&D's actually fine. We just want you to finish alchemy. This was a massive con that everyone was involved in.
We contacted all these YouTubers. We even got official statements released.
Hang on,
we worked hard.
that OGL had wix.dungeonsanddragons.com.
Look, there was a YouTuber was offering a deal. It was quick and easy.
Yeah, so that's a thing.
That's exciting. Okay.
Yes.
It's going to be an exciting problem for us to face, Matt, but I think, it's worked. It's worked time and time again. We just need to upscale some characters 12 levels.
Yeah, I think that's doable.
We can do it, yeah.
Is alchemy a different like leveling system, or is it like similar to D&D?
Yeah,
different.
Yeah, it's a different.
It's different.
You grow by failing, basically.
Oh, perfect.
The more you attempt something, the better you get at it.
The more you fail, the more experience points you get, which then after a certain amount of experience points, you can then like start to increase your skills and things like that. So the higher you get, really, the harder it should be to level.
Damn. Okay. Well, I mean, if you guys have room for a guest star in your campaign at any point in time,
and it grows.
Maybe for the end of my bit, Matt.
I mean, the stage is set for Gracchus,
because really we're winding up
that campaign,
and then very quickly winding out. I think there is how many cases we probably got.
So we're on the penultimate case.
This is the penultimate case, and then then the next one would be the final case for the campaign. And then to be fair, at that point, we had to work out what the next playthrough was going to be anyway. So.
Yeah. Not that I'm the DM, but I would love to have you along for the public inauguration of this system, Arthadian.
Well,
you are more than welcome.
I've been wanting to play more tabletop RPGs. I got a Star Trek like tabletop RPG for Christmas, and I've been wanting to play it. I told Matt about it, and I know how he is with Star Trek. So
he's quite partial to it, I've heard.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
What's that fan fiction again?
But alchemy, yes, I definitely want to. I've been wanting to try it out for some time, and I'm here, and I'm ready to start learning some new systems and play my character however I'm going to play it. I don't know how I'm going to play it, but we'll see.
I mean, we could even do it after the campaign rolls.
I'm just being inhaled into making this happen, aren't I?
Sweet.
Thank you, wizards. Thank you for casting a spell over the whole tabletop role-playing community, like a nasty spell. You bloody idiots! Now here we come.
Well, it's the classic call to action, isn't it?
It is. This is the call to adventure of the hero's journey.
Yeah. It is.
Basically. Oh yeah.
I'm just going to throw it out there. If we want to go down on once we play tested it on the ending of this campaign, I am more than happy to.
Western. Broken
states. Weird West.
Western.
Yeah.
Doc can come back. I'll play the same character again.
I say, please bring back Doc.
And we'd have an American with us to gauge our terrible American accents.
Oh, correct.
I don't think I had one, did I? Did I? I probably did.
No, you were English.
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Which place was it?
The thing is
yeah,
that
Just
the thing
Matt was
is that
gruff.
I'm a Californian, so I got that, you know, like, oh, dude.
It's true.
So as we now know, Alchemy would not be affected by this at all. How does it affect your system, Nathaniel?
Well, I run off of a D12 system.
Uh-huh.
Even if they put stuff out, I'm not gonna freaking follow that shit. Fuck them. I'll look at what the orc is doing. I don't think it really affects my system. Matt, what do you think? Because you've played Reborn in Power for like now, I think now that is 13 sessions.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I struggle. I would struggle to see how they could get you on anything.
Yeah, I mean, I did base some of the mechanics based off of D&D 5e for simplistic sakes, like difficulty when you're rolling for a check and you just like set a number, or like the attributes are like the ability scores. But the thing is that my system is like based off of two numbers, 12 and 5. So it's like the leveling goes up to 12, and so then you roll a d12, and then the attributes are up to 12 as well. And so it's all kind of, I tried to take away all the D&D stuff as much as I could and just make my own thing. And then I also made it very modular so that as you're leveling up, you can kind of pick and choose what you want for your character, and it's very customization heavy character creation and progression.
I like that. That's like my favorite thing to do in an RPG.
Yeah, that's why I created it the way I did. The thing is that it is a robust character creation system, so it's not like you can't just get into it and then like start to play. I have pre-made characters and all that stuff, and I've been working on a beginner module so that it's just like you just get started and you read through the system, and it just tells you what to roll for certain checks and all that stuff. But the game is literally made to be a robust system so that once you learn the system, you can actually create little like pockets. It's like a Lego set. You can create little homebrew mechanics on your own, like one little thing, or like multiple different things for a certain type of character. And then what I want to do what D&D Beyond should be doing, which is bring creators on, create their own content, have like different regions of the universe that people can explore with their own worlds and aliens and all this stuff that they're creating. And then a portion of what they make will go to funding the process of getting more creators and paying them for creating their own content. And that's kind of like
bloody brilliant. And this was a huge thing behind Alchemy as well. We wanted a really robust system that worked. We wanted ease of access into it, and that's why I built it with cards, really.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to find a place to find like D20s and things like that. So you could everyone's got a pack of cards in their house. And then just so people can make shit. Like the creator community in anything is so incredible. And what they're doing is throwing them under the bus with this thing. And I think it's such a shame. And they'll see it. They'll rue the day.
They'll regret it eventually.
Eventually, they will rue the day. And well,
like it seems like because they've got like a movie coming out that could.
This is the worst thing they could have done for that, honestly.
A movie that doesn't look that good.
No, it doesn't.
It's just probably
going to crash.
The problem with D&D movies is D&D is just generic fantasy, and generic fantasy isn't interesting in a movie because there's nothing special about it. It's why I think that Lord of the Rings is going to work. Yeah.
At some point,
you have to write a good story for the fantasy to work, and this seems like it's going to be like an action-packed comedy.
It's just trying to get every trope it can to try and get popular. It's going to tank.
It's probably going to tank, but probably not as much as you might think.
They'll make some bank.
It'll make some money.
For example, my dad is someone who still goes to watch Marvel movies consistently, and I'm like, I'm done watching Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm really
it's-
like a beaten spouse when it comes to anything like that. Like Marvel, I'll still watch. Like Mass Effect. Like if they came back, I just
I
gobble
think
it up. I know I would.
They're
I
planning
know
for
I
Mass
would.
Effect back. To be honest, I can't argue. Dragon Age did that for me. Lee. As soon as I
Right,
heard
I'll
they're
gobble it
making
up.
Dragon Age 4, I'm like,
Hmm.
oh god, I'm gonna have to play this game now. I don't really don't
If
want
they made
to
another
keep
Fallout
money.
that I could play on my own, 100%, I'd eat it up. I know I would.
If you like Mass Effect, you might like Reborn in Power.
I'm really
What?
very interested by it, and I keep like Matt just keeps like when we're screen sharing, I'll see a little bit of it. What's lower? What's lower down on that page?
I need to consume
I'm
more.
very interested.
Maybe a guest star comes in and maybe you play like a
You read my mind,
a
Arthadian.
Marmaduke.
Oh gosh! Oh no!
Oh,
Another Marmaduke! Oh no!
Oh,
Oh, the 10th one was special, Matt. You said it was going to be special.
I feel like moving forward, every 10th one should be a big one. Like a big get a bunch of people together and just like
have a chat.
See what mistakes a company has made now.
Yeah, and anything ending with a 3 or a 7, as we started earlier, maybe those would be really interesting ones as well. I've taken one of them.
Yeah, 13 is going to be an interesting one. Yeah, don't know what 12 is going to be. Who knows? Something. We'll put someone in 12. We'll find some way to make 12 a thing. Yeah, but it's now that I'm not in bloody Poland, these things can actually happen with more regularity, which is nice. Bloody.
I disappeared to Norway at the end of March.
To Norway?
Yeah. Booked my tickets this morning. I don't know when I'm coming back because I couldn't find any flights back. So booked a flight there for £15. Want to try and find the Northern Lights. Once I've found them, I can find my way back somehow, I guess. So
yeah, hitch a ride on a boat.
Yeah. I couldn't even tell you where I'm going to off the top of my head. I know it's not Bergen. I know it's not Oslo.
We're a bit too far south, aren't we?
I'm going to, it starts with a T, Tromsø.
Okay, yeah.
Tromsø.
Yeah.
That's quite far north, I think.
How you would say that? Tromsø.
Tromsø. And it's got
the
that
O's
line
have
through
lines
it.
through
line
it,
to the O.
Got the line through the last O. So.
I think it's I think I've heard it pronounced. I think it's like Tromsø. So
I'll be there for a while. Or maybe I'll get there, see it the first night and go,
and fucking
I'm
come home.
Yeah. Well, I'm going back to Poland just for a visit, not to stay there. Going to go for a visit in February because I was only out of the town I was in once for a day, so I'd like to spend more time outside of that town.
Actually, get to see Poland rather than just one place.
Yeah.
We seem to have come to a conclusion, and now we're talking about travel plans, and I don't think really anyone cares about our travel plans.
Yeah,
unless they want to come see us. Come find the Northern Lights with me.
Well, I'm going to Kentucky in the summer, so that'll be fun.
Karl, anything for you?
I'm going to Mallorca in September, so
there you are.
Well, if you see us in any of those places, say hello.
Say hello, and we'll go. Wow, you watched us, brilliant.
Sweet.
Northern Lights are good, aren't they?
You're one of the 43. What are the odds? So
one very interesting thing, though, that it kind of overlaps because it's very like nerdy in nature. But I've been told that there's a comet, right? A comet, and this is like the first time it's been around in like 50,000 years. On the 1st and 2nd of February, it should be visible to the naked eye.
I think I heard about this one. I think I saw the story about it. Yeah.
Is this the one that's going to hit us or no?
Well, it's flying. It's flying in between Mercury.
Hang on. You say it's not around for 50,000 years. Yeah. Could it be a Reaper?
Might be.
It is the cycle time. It could be.
Might be. But we haven't like got to interstellar travel yet, so they're just going like idiots.
Yeah, fine. Leave them alone.
They're still chatting about OGLs and things. We'll come back in 50,000. We're safe. We just cusped it.
We just missed it. Yeah.
They'll just see that Tesla that's just like that missed Mars. Like, well, they're shooting cars at planets.
If they're shooting cars,
idiots.
they're not there yet. We're fine.
Well, I think on that note, before we tangent again, which we want to do, we will finish there. So, Matt, where can people find you?
You can find me at arthadiananthologies.com. Well, that is basically literally the best place to find me. So you go check it out. Go check out the new Expanding Universe. I have a podcast. Matt is on it. He plays Marmaduke, which right now I feel like Marmaduke is just a fan favorite because everyone loves his little quirks. And I have a series that's coming out, that The Doctor right there, that one's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And that one's coming out next week. And you can also watch our live stream, which is bi-weekly Tuesdays, The New Age, on Arthadian Anthologies YouTube channel. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lee and Karl, where can people find you?
I'm still not on mine, so.
Yeah, I couldn't find myself on mine either. But you're going to love this, Matt. Today I joined Twitter.
Oh, why?
Why?
I've used it as because I'm always writing down things that I want to be like, because I'm scaling up in quite a big way in 2023 with the business. And rather than write it down in my notebook, I'm just going to put it on Twitter and see how many people like it or hate it. I'm not going to read the comments. This is just basically my notebook.
I'll follow.
He says now.
I'll follow you, and then I'll just post really bad memes on it.
Love that. Memes are life. Memes are
You want
life.
to put that out? That at?
I can't even remember what it is, man. It is.
Professional outfit here.
It is.
Always.
Renaissy Thoughts. So that's RENASCI Thoughts, as in the things that happen in your mind.
All right. Well, you can find me at.
No tweets yet.
No tweets yet. But there will be. And what business is this? Well, we'll find out in number 13. And you can find me at Matt Waterhouse Author on Minds. You can find me, obviously, here on this YouTube channel where you're watching this. And it's been a fun number 10. More.
How do I tweet?
We'll take this off stream.
We probably won't. See you guys later.